But it's an interesting one, Dean Ashton, former England striker, about the two forwards. Let's compare their games. We were having a conversation a little bit earlier on about Erling Braut Haaland. You told us exactly what you thought about his qualities. What do you make of Kylian Mbappe?
I mean, I watched the performance against Barcelona where he scored the hat-trick in the first leg. And again, it looked to me like the game was almost too easy for him. He was too quick. He was too intelligent. His footwork was too good. He looked strong, like he's really developing into his physique. Players bouncing off him. Picks up great positions. Great anticipation once he's in the box, which we saw with his first goal, where the flick from Verratti and he's just there and he's already got that picture of what he wants to do with the ball and then he can execute it. And I think he's very, very unselfish as well. I think he's got a real unselfish streak that it's not just all about him. I think he's happy to combine with other players. I think he's happy to assist and to create sort of havoc on one side with players coming across to give space for other players. You try and think of weaknesses in players. I can't find any. I honestly cannot find a weakness in Mbappe.
If you had the money, if you were Manchester City and you had to go after one this summer, Haaland or Mbappe, who would you rather go for?
I thought it's so difficult. I watched Mbappe in that performance and thought, there's no one better. And then I watched Haaland last night and against Bayern, and I'm thinking, crikey, he just looks unbeatable as well. I think if I had to pick, I would go for Haaland. I think I would. I like his aggressive style. I think he's got a real edge. I think he's got a selfish edge as well. I think that all he sees is like records and scoring goals. That's all I think he sees, and I just love that about him. And I think these two are going to take over the roles of people like us constantly trying to decide between Ronaldo and Messi. Well, it's going to be Haaland and Mbappe because they're very different and very different characters. You can tell Haaland's got a slight edge when you see him in interviews. You can tell that Mbappe, is quite calm and looks like a real sort of team player. But then I love Haaland because he's got that kind of Ronaldo sort of edge and arrogance and single-mindedness to win things and beat records. So I think it's going to be constantly talked about. Me, if I had the money, I would be going and getting Haaland. I just think the goal-scoring numbers that he's putting together at this age is out of this world.
I think the realistic choice for Manchester City has to be Haaland because I think they need that genuine centre forward to replace Sergio Aguero in the middle of the pitch in the penalty box. I think Mbappe, if he were to play for Manchester City, would be playing probably off the left-hand side where they've already got a great talent in the shape of Raheem Sterling. So in terms of their need, I think Haaland fits for Manchester City. But I've got to say, if he does go to Manchester City, he can't play the way he currently plays. This doesn't mean, by the way, that he's going to be any worse if he plays for Manchester City. I definitely think being under Pep Guardiola's tutelage, he will definitely improve as a player. But he plays currently with such a freedom, such an ability to basically do what he wants on the pitch. He's able to use his physical attributes. He's able to make the runs he wants. He's able to run the challenges, the channels, excuse me. He's able to go into heavy challenges all the time. He's not asked to link the play as much. He is currently at Borussia Dortmund free. He's the man. A bit like when Ronaldo went to Real Madrid and it was like, get him the ball. He is our guy. He is going to take us to glory. Currently, he has that aura about him playing in that Borussia Dortmund team. If he goes to Manchester City, I think he will improve. I think he will score more goals. But you look at their team right now and the way they're playing a lot of games with a false nine, as we've seen today. I think if he goes to Manchester City, he will be asked to do more of that link-up play. He will be asked to do more of that selfish work that Guardiola has praised Gabriel Jesus for. More of that controlled, I'd like to say rigid, but sort of a more disciplined style that Manchester City have. And of course, you've got to remember, there is more onus on your teammates as well. It's not just about you scoring all the goals. other players in that team, as we've seen, Mahrez this evening, Sterling, De Bruyne, Gundogan, all an emphasis on those players to contribute to the goal-scoring stakes as well, not just a big onus on make sure our striker scores. And so I think he will improve as an all-round striker. But the sort of play that we see from him at the moment, I mean, he does play like a kid in the playground. You know, he is totally in his own world right now. I think Guardiola coaches some of that out of him, which means he might be less fun to watch, but I think he'll score every single week if he plays for Manchester City, because they will just get him to slot into their style of play so well. So it's a big decision for him to make. So I think if he plays for Manchester United, which is probably unlikely, but if he did, he would be more of the Haaland we're currently watching, more of that freestyle, more of that end-to-end type approach that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has that we've seen at the weekend. You know, we saw Martial at the weekend have a great game, you know, because he almost had that freedom to get the ball, hold it up, go past the player, try and bring someone into play. That's what Haaland loves to do. And currently, maybe he'll have more fun at Man United. Certainly, I think he'll win more if he's at Manchester City.